Kawhi Leonard didn't play on Sunday. Had his All-Star break, even though he actually played in the All-Star game. So he should be explosive tonight. There's no excuse for Kawhi not to go off tonight.
When is he going to start gearing up for like a playoff run? I mean, I would like to think he's not taking load management days in the playoffs.
No, I think that.
When is this guy going to? You got to start prepping for it. You can't just say, okay, now it's go time.
Everything I keep hearing is, it's the team that has come up with this and the team that is telling him. Because, again, it was his decision. He played at the All-Star game.
I'm not buying that. It's the team. I'm not buying that.
You think he is involved? He's obviously involved, but you're saying you think he's the one dictating these terms?
Right.
I find that hard to believe. I don't think he's going in saying, load management today, not
really?
feeling it.
How many teams do you know that has a superstar player who's a top 10 player in the league, and they're like, nah, back it off today?
A team that is so desperate to make this guy feel comfortable. The most desperate scenario in the NBA.
Here's something.
Do you think it's because of the wanting to make an impression, you do whatever you want?
Well, it's not whatever you want. It's we're taking your interest into our hands.
This guy played 9 games last year, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be aware that they obviously know what was wrong with him. Like that's one thing.
I'm aware of how many games the guy played last year, but I'm thinking.
But
it's
you're
not
right.
far away where you got to kind of gear up, or there's
Double
no
down,
days
play
off.
some back-to-back, see how you feel. You're right. I was going to head a different direction, though. Do you ever see that coming to hockey?
No,
not
to that extent.
You don't think we'll ever see. Not to Kawhi's extent. But I'm saying, the Leafs schedule. Am I wrong? Are they playing 15 games this month?
Basically every other day. It's close
something.
to that.
Let's just
they
say
got 20 games left in 40-something days.
Do you think it'll ever come to a point where a team is playing like 5 games in 8 nights or 5 and 7, where it's like not the goaltender scenario. I'm talking player scenario.
The only way
they're
I
going to
could see it,
stagger,
Jamie,
like Matthews not playing this night, Marner's not playing that night.
The only way I could see it would be this year. If I'm the Tampa Bay Lightning, Steven Stamkos, go ahead and go away for a week. And then the next week, Kucherov, you go away for a week.
Yeah.
And then when you're back, Hedman, or all 3 of you go together, or do whatever you got to do, but they would all be do whatever you want.
You got lots of runaway.
Come back come playoff time. Be ready to play, because I don't want to see you until then.
You're right.
Because they have lapped the field, and that's an example where you could say, you know what? But then again, you've got fans that are going to be like, what the hell? We want to see our guy.
And Kucherov's like, I want to get to 130 points or 125 or 120, whatever. I get it. I just think with education, sports science, everything that's tied to athletics now and where it's trending, now you're going to see chips and pucks and chips and jerseys, and you're going to be able to see guys real time, the analytics as far as tracking everything. I would argue that sports science may get to a point where, and you could tell Babs is pissed about it sometimes. He's like, oh, those guys are going to tell me when he's playing. Would it shock you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, load management is part of the National Hockey League?
Potentially. Yeah, I mean, it will to an extent. It will happen, I think. I don't think, like Kawhi, I don't think...
Because technically goalies are getting load management.
Yeah, and listen, it's happened in other sports. Like you look at pitching staffs, it used to be like a 2 or 3 man rotation back in the day, and then it was a 4-man rotation, now a 5. Some teams go with a 6-man rotation because it's like we got to preserve this guy's arm. So yes, I could see that. In baseball, it's going to be interesting. I wanted to get to the Troy Tulowitzki stuff.
Right.
Tulo pulled the Kawhi last year, and now reports are out there that the Yankees have him penciled in to be their everyday shortstop. You're telling me a guy's going to miss a full year. He's 32 or 33 years old, and he's going to go out there and play 150 games? I don't see it.
Yeah.
And the Yankees should be able to cruise to 95 wins with or without Tulowitzki. So will he be a guy that's in load management, or because he's on the cheap now and he's got to resuscitate his career, will he accept it?
Yeah.
That's what's funny about Kawhi is, all this load management. Everyone's taking. I can't believe I keep saying. I use this term now like it's a normal term.
But it's just
a part of the vernacular now. Load management. Like, how stupid is this?
But how many times have we?
That's what it is, though.
It's just a part of the sports world now.
It's come into. But that's Corsi. Everyone understands it now. Like, think of how the way we look at sports have changed.
I know, but instead of rest, It's rest. It's not load management. It's rest. Like I'm chirping myself for buying into this stupid propaganda.
I get it, but but everyone understands that verbiage now.
Right. Everyone gets it now. But like Kawhi, he's been very good this year, but he hasn't been overly explosive. Like he hasn't been explosive. Like Finals MVP Kawhi.
Right.
And yet no one is discussing anything but a max contract, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like there's no, what if he never gets back to 100%?
Or what if we...
What if this is what he is?
This guy's only guarantees us 60 games a year?
Right. What if he's only 60? Exactly. What if his body, if he can't recover, and it's not that he's not a very good player. He's still a very good player.
He's elite.
But
here,
no one's even debating it in the NBA.
The only thing that I would debate is what we don't know. Why did he only play 9 games a couple years ago? And then why are they so strict with load management? Do they know something that we don't know in the public as far as, hey, this guy's got a degenerative this? Or,
right. Or how he's testing or whatever.
Exactly. Like, are they seeing something? So if I'm going to sign him to a max contract, you'd have to be privy to everything that's involved with this guy.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like a max it's a done deal. It's happening. Whether it's in Toronto, it's either a 5-year deal in Toronto, 4-year deal somewhere else. He's getting it in the most amount of money possible, which is fine. But is it going to come with the provision that it's 60 games a year?
Yeah.
Like, is that like basically in the contract, in the fine print? Like, here's a 5-year max and you're 60 games and that's it.
Okay,
I don't know.
Here's a question for a fan. This is a fan question and a fan base question. Would you take less of a superstar to have him in your organization, or 100% of a guy just below that? Now, it's more, basically you got 100% of DeRozan, and you got 80%
or 90% of Kawhi or whatever. Yeah.
I want it every day, man. I don't, this load management stuff, I know he was injured last year, but I want an athlete who is ready and prepared to play every day. Sorry.
As long as he's ready in the playoffs.
That's the thing.
That is the priority.
I'll take 60 games in the regular season, and I'll take 100% of playoffs of a superstar than a guy who plays every night, and you love him, and he's a crowd favorite, and he's a really good player. And
yeah, well, guess what? You better be the best damn player in the playoffs every game. You're going to put that kind of pressure on yourself. But you only play 60 games to prep yourself for the playoffs, and you're going to perform like that? Okay. Yeah. Let's see what you got.
There's no question about that. When playoff time comes around, Kawhi he's got to be the best player. And if they want to win or go anywhere, he has to be. Mm-hmm. And that goes across the board in pro sports. So Austin Matthews has to be the best player.
Yeah.
Right? Or, it's
you
the
want
same
$11.5 million? I don't care if you're playing the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
You better go out there and you better be the best player on the ice. Most games.
Yes.
Most games.
You do need help over a long run, of course. But, yeah. Why do the Pats win every year? Because come playoff time, their best player is their best player.
Yeah, Gronk and Brady are the best players. Edelman,
they're ready
every
to play.
time. Every time.
Ready to play.
Yeah.
That's what comes with the program.
Star power.